How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We have something really interesting happening, something that could be very beneficial for Bitcoin. Really good. And unfortunately, it screws some other people that made an investment in another arena or another asset class. I kind of want to talk about that because it hits kind of near and dear to my heart right now because I am looking at different places to put my money in. After stuff like this happens, it makes Bitcoin look a lot more attractive. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this one. There's also going to be a link underneath the video to Margex where you can trade cryptocurrency using leverage. You can get set up in just a few seconds. Of course, make sure you always read their terms and conditions. And there's also a link to CoinW as well where you can trade futures or you can trade spot, and they're giving up to 100 million jungle tokens away. So definitely check that out. Now, the fear and greed index has fallen down. It's down into neutral. Now, let me just give you an idea for the layout of this video. We're going to be going through some stuff that's happening right now. And then the big thing that really we need to talk about a little bit more, we're going to hit on a little bit later, but market sentiment. It's at neutral. It's fluctuating between neutral and greed, like right here. I think 54 or 55 was when it technically hits greed. So we're just floating around neutral to greed, which is interesting because I don't think anyone's greedy right now. We got overheated when we moved up to 74. Now we've been down around this level for 100 or 110 days at this point. So I don't think anyone's feeling greedy or like people are being greedy right now. But, this takes a little bit of time to move. Now, Eric Balkanis from Bloomberg says BlackRock is in. No fee posted, but they did report seeding with $10 million. So they are seeding their Ethereum ETF. Okay, Fidelity is seeding theirs. So they are buying other cryptos now. They're buying Ethereum, they're buying Bitcoin. Who knows what they're buying behind the scenes with private funds. There are some entities that are making Solana ETPs, so I would not be surprised if BlackRock has a little bit of Solana, maybe if they have a little bit of Chainlink. I'm not sure. Right now, there are a lot of companies that are doing things or accepting Bitcoin, and a lot of them you don't probably even remember. Like this, we talked about Michael Dell yesterday. He's one of the 10 or 15 wealthiest people on earth, and he's the CEO of Dell. He owns 60% of this, was it 9-figure company? $100 billion company. So he owns a lot of that. He also owns 40 million somewhere else because he's worth 113 billion. But this is 10 years ago. They started accepting Bitcoin. Now he's talking about Bitcoin pretty favorably. So 10 years ago, he was accepting Bitcoin. Now he's talking about Bitcoin. Would not be surprised to see him going out and buying some Bitcoin. So he's not the only one, or BlackRock's not the only one that's most likely buying. I would not be surprised to see an announcement from Dell saying that they started buying Bitcoin a couple weeks ago or something, and this is how much Bitcoin they have, the MicroStrategy playbook. But we see a lot of other entities too that are running nodes or validators for different networks. So it's just interesting to see all these companies starting to get something invested in the cryptocurrency space. We do have a couple big events this week. So we have FedGov Christopher Waller speech in Rome. If we scroll down though, we have initial jobless claims. We have the GDP revision, pending home sales, and then the big Mac Daddy PCE. And then we have personal spending too. But we have PCE, which is the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, on Friday. So this will definitely shift markets. The expectation is 0. Last time it was 0.3%. So hopefully we don't get any uptick at all. I think the markets would take that as a pretty positive sign. And of course, there's going to be other things that happen throughout the week too. But those are the big economic news coming this week. Of course, like I said, there can be big events or big pieces of news in crypto. But let's talk for a second about the big piece of news that was just announced. Literally today on Sunday, it was announced. But first, a word from our show sponsor. Now, a lot of the time I'm looking at different cryptos to see what has good price action, right? Usually if they have good price action, there's something going on, there's some positive thing that they're doing, or they're getting people's attention. One crypto that has been moving up a lot is LovePowerCoin. Now, this is a partner of the channel. They're up 555% just in the last couple months, and really since the midpoint of May. Now, they are making a big announcement. So they have a couple new centralized exchanges that they're going on here on the 24th, June 24 at 9 a.m. UTC. They're going on BitGet and BingX. Right now, you can buy them a couple different places, Mexi and Uniswap. They have explanations on how to buy via Uniswap on their website. They're basically a community-based social project. They're an NFT marketplace where you can bid for different NFTs with their token. And they also have staking coming here very soon. So the price of one token right now is about $40.50. They have 1 million tokens. So the fully diluted market cap is about 40 million, but the circulating is only about 4.6 million. They launched with no pre-sale and VC investment, and the project is driven entirely by the community. Here in the very near future, they are launching a minting mechanism for video NFTs as well. I'll leave links to this underneath the video in case you want to go follow them on Twitter or in case you want to go buy the token. Of course, always do your own research. Okay, I saw this on Twitter. Just want to confirm it, and it is confirmed. Barcelona announces plan to ban tourist rental apartments by 2028. So basically, they don't want Airbnbs. They don't want, what's that called? VRBOs. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't read into this that much. But from what I saw, they basically cited the cost of living has gone up. The cost of homes has gone up because there are a lot of vacation rentals. This is bound to happen in more places. And I've seen this thrown around where I live too, that they wanted to get rid of short-term rentals. Now, I live in an area that's got lots of water, a lot of lakes. And yeah, there are a lot of people that buy really nice Airbnbs because they can make, a couple $100 a night, $300-$400 a night. Or they say, well, I'm not even sure if I'm going to make money, but I'm not going to lose money and they'll pay down my loan. So I'll go put a down payment on it. It's not a great idea. And it brings me back to Bitcoin. There are investments like this that seem like home runs, right? You can put down, 50 grand and you can make 50 grand a year. So it's great. People retired during COVID from this and they focus solely on their rentals. But it is risky because this is such a divisive thing because it does increase the price to buy a home because you're naturally competing with more people. You're competing with big investors. And you're also competing with people that wouldn't even typically buy a long-term rental, but they're like, oh, well, we can Airbnb out our cottage, or we can Airbnb out this other home that I kind of like the look of. So you're competing with more entities. It makes it difficult. Now, as someone that really believes in Bitcoin, I think this, again, comes back to Bitcoin. You can buy something like this, a piece of property that almost everyone would agree, hey, you need somewhere to live. So base level, you think, okay, buying more homes isn't bad. If you can make some extra money on it, great. But like I said, a lot of people buy these homes where the numbers don't make sense unless it's a short-term rental. They can't do a 12-month lease and make money on these because a lot of them are just normal homes. They're not like they bought them at a discount like a fourplex or a duplex. No, they're just normal homes that they bought, and yeah, they don't make sense. Most homes don't cash flow. 95, 99% of homes don't cash flow at the price that people want to sell them at. So it's very difficult now because, again, housing prices have gone up almost everywhere in the world significantly. It's hard not to see a future where more cities, counties, areas, countries, states, wherever you're at, ban short-term rentals. I think that's bound to happen a little bit more, or they'll be restrictive. Where I live, there's only so many that can be approved each year, depending on if you're in the city or outside the city. So I would not be surprised if this happens. And it scares people off from wanting to invest, right? Like, I've looked at some potential Airbnbs, and I just always came back to the fact that it doesn't really make sense. I can't bank on this. I can't bank on this income, and it doesn't make sense as anything else. It's not gonna cash flow. So I just can't buy it. And I think more and more people will turn away from Airbnbs when stuff like this happens. Obviously, it's like a warning to everyone else. Hey, this can happen to you. You might be effed. You might be screwed. So be careful out there if you're looking at Airbnbs, because you might have a problem. Now, where do you put your cash then? Well, maybe you put your cash in the one asset that has become institutionalized over the last year, that is controlled by no government at all. No one can tell you can't hold it. I mean, they might try to say that you can't exchange it, but that doesn't last very long. You can see even China go back and forth kind of in the past. But Thomas says sitting at 64K, I'd say downside risk is 40K and the upside potential is 500K next 12 months. So that's a 0.7x downside and an 8x upside. 12-to-1 risk to reward makes Bitcoin the most asymmetric opportunity in the market. There's nothing better. Now, I'm not trying to equate Bitcoin necessarily to properties, but I am saying when you have a pile of cash, there are a couple things you can do. You can keep it in cash. You can go buy some item with it, which will probably depreciate right away. You could buy some land, which you have to pay on over time, and unless you have a good use for it, it's not really an investment. There are some people that like to flip land, but it's not generally considered a good investment. You can buy stocks. So you could buy VOO, you could buy the general stock market index fund. If you buy individual stocks, it's riskier, but you can do it. You can buy real estate, which, again, you have to buy something that cash flows, even without Airbnb, in my opinion. If it can Airbnb, great, but it has to cash flow without being an Airbnb. Or you can buy crypto. And at this point in the cycle, Bitcoin looks really interesting, really attractive. So let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. I think all roads lead to Bitcoin, and news like this just strikes me as, hey, there are going to be more people that have some cash that are not going to invest in Airbnb, and they're going to look for other alternatives, and they're going to find Bitcoin. Let me know your thoughts, though. If you are checking out Bitcoin Nashville, or if you plan on going to Bitcoin Nashville and you haven't already gotten your ticket, there's a link to that underneath the video where you can get 10% off, an extra 10% off with my code. And if you pay in Bitcoin, you can get 21% off. So check out that link underneath the video. There's a link to MargX and to CoinW as well. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to let me know what you think about this down below in the comment section. I'll see you in the next video.